Hi Nana. So in this video we'll learn about some important terms related to salts. Some important terms related to salts. Okay. So first term is anhydrous salt. What is anhydrous salt? Salts are of different types. So one of the type is anhydrous salt. Anhydrous salt means a salt which does not contain any water of crystallization. Example, if you see sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is not having any water of crystallization. What is the meaning of water of crystallization? Water of crystallization. For example, if you take any salt like blue vitriol. See, already we have seen what is blue vitriol in our previous in our previous book, I mean part 1. So CuSO4.5H2O. This is called as blue vitriol, or also copper sulfate crystals. See, in the formation of copper sulfate crystals, every copper sulfate molecule, every one copper sulfate molecule, it is loosely bonded with 5 water molecules. Okay, so that means every copper sulfate, every one molecule of copper sulfate, it is loosely bonded with 5 water molecules. Then only they can form the perfect crystals. Otherwise, they cannot form perfect crystals. Okay, now the amount of water molecules, or else the number of molecules of water which are loosely bonded to one molecule of the salt. So that number is said to be water of crystallization. The number of water molecules which are loosely attached. The number of water molecules which are loosely attached. The number of water molecules which are loosely attached to one molecule of salt. To one molecule of salt. Okay, so that number of water molecules is said to be water of crystallization. Okay, is called water of crystallization. This is called as water of crystallization. So for example, if you take blue vitriol, this is called as hydrated water. This is also called as hydrated salt. Such salts are said to be hydrated salts. Okay, see, look here. So this is what? This is copper sulfate. Okay, so copper sulfate of crystals of copper sulfate. It is also called as blue vitriol. So in the crystals of copper sulfate, you will find these molecules. So this is now this is an entire molecule. Okay, this molecule is again this molecule is made up of 6 molecules. Okay, now this entire thing is said to be a molecule. So in this molecule, in the formation of this molecule, one copper sulfate molecule, okay, it is loosely bonded with 5 water molecules. So now this molecule is said to be blue vitriol molecule. Okay, so now in this molecule, there are 5 water molecules which are attached to one copper sulfate molecule. So that means the number of water molecules which are attached to one molecule of a salt. Okay, so in the crystals. Okay, so that number of water molecules is said to be water of crystallization. Okay, if you take a small crystal of copper sulfate, blue vitriol, so this is made up of several hundreds of such molecules. this small crystal of salt, blue vitriol salt, it is made up of several hundreds of these molecules. Okay, so every one molecule, in every one molecule of this one, if you observe, so one copper sulfate molecule, it is bonded to 5 water molecules loosely. 5 water molecules are loosely attached to one molecule of this salt. Okay, so like this, such salts are said to be hydrated salts, but here anhydrous salt. What is the meaning of anhydrous salt? Anhydrous salt means a salt which does not contain any water of crystallization. Example, NaCl. Here there is no water of crystallization. Another example, sodium nitrate, NaNO3. Sodium nitrate, sodium chloride. Okay, lead nitrate. See, these are all salts. They never contain water of crystallization. Hence, they are said to be anhydrous salts. Okay, like this. So, this is one term related to salts. This is another term related to salts. Now, let us learn about another term related to salt is hydrated salt. Anhydrous salt we have seen. Okay, water of crystallization we learned. Now, we will learn about hydrated salt. What is hydrated salt? Hydrated salt. That means the salt which is having water of crystallization is said to be hydrated salt. If water of crystallization is not present, then that salt is said to be anhydrous salt. Then if water of crystallization is present, that means a definite number of water molecules are loosely bonded to one molecule of a salt. Okay. For example, just now we have seen water of crystallization. Example, we have seen copper sulfate, blue vitriol. So, what is hydrated salt? A salt which contain okay, a definite number of molecules of water. A definite number. That means a certain number. A definite number of molecules of water. Okay, a salt which contain a definite number of molecules of water which are attached loosely to one molecule of a salt. Okay, to one molecule of a salt is called hydrated salt. Okay, it's called hydrated salt. Example, the same example we can see CuSO4 dot 5H2O. See, this salt is said to be hydrated salt. Okay, this salt is hydrated salt. Suppose if you heat this salt, what happens? If you heat this salt, it loses these water molecules and finally it forms a CuSO4. And these water molecules are separated. From that salt if you heat. So now this is called as anhydrous salt. Now it is called as anhydrous copper sulfate. Okay. This is what? This is called as hydrated copper sulfate. It is called as hydrated copper sulfate. Because it is having water, because water of crystallization is present. If water of crystallization is present in a salt, then that salt is said to be hydrated salt. Now this is what? hydrated salt. This is called as hydrated copper sulfate. The salt is copper sulfate as it is having water molecules, hence it is said to be hydrated copper sulfate. But this is not having any water molecules attached to it loosely, then such salt is said to be anhydrous copper sulfate salt. So from hydrated salts we can prepare anhydrous salts simply by heating. If you heat hydrated salts, these hydrated salts will lose water of crystallization. They lose the water of crystallization. Okay, so and become anhydrous salts. So like this, hydrated salt. Some examples of hydrated salts are, so this is called as blue vitriol, copper sulfate pentahydrate. We can call it as blue vitriol or blue vitriol, or else it's also called as copper sulfate pentahydrate. Penta means 5. Pentahydrate. What is the meaning of hydrate? Pentahydrate. Hydrate means water. Penta means 5. So 5 water molecules are present along with the copper sulfate. Hence it is called as copper sulfate pentahydrate. Copper sulfate pentahydrate. So it is called as blue vitriol, or else simply we may call it as hydrated copper sulfate. And this is simply called as anhydrous copper sulfate. Okay, now we will see one more example, some more examples of these hydrated salts. Some more examples of hydrated salts. For example, zinc sulfate, hydrated zinc sulfate, zinc sulfate, heptahydrate. Hepta means 7, hydrate means water. Zinc sulfate. So its formula is ZnSO4 dot 7H2O. Zinc sulfate, hepta 7 hydrate, water molecules. Okay, so it is also called as white vitriol. Okay, so that means this is another hydrated salt. So this is another example for hydrated salt. One more example we will see, calcium chloride hexahydrate. I am removing this one. Calcium chloride hexahydrate. CaCl2 dot 6H2O, calcium chloride hexahydrate. So this is another example for hydrated salts. So like this, there are so many hydrated salts, so we can specify those hydrated salts. Okay, another example, washing soda, sodium carbonate decahydrate. Sodium carbonate decahydrate. Sodium carbonate decahydrate. Sodium carbonate Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. Deca means 10. Hydrate means water. Okay, 10H2O. Okay, hydrate means H2O, water. And sodium carbonate decahydrate. In the same way, so this is what washing soda. Okay, another salt, Glauber salt. Glauber, Glauber salt. What is Glauber salt? Sodium sulfate decahydrate. Sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfate decahydrate. Decahydrate. Sodium sulfate decahydrate. That means Na2SO4. Sodium sulfate means Na2SO4 dot 10H2O. 10H2O. Deca means 10 hydrate water molecules. Sodium sulfate decahydrate. Okay, so this is the formula of Glauber salt. So like this, these are some of the examples of hydrated salts. Okay, right. Let us learn another term related to these salts. Deliquescent salts, or else deliquescent substances. Okay, deliquescent salt, or also deliquescent substance. Deliquescent substance. What is deliquescent substance? Suppose if a salt, is kept somewhere. So now this is salt. This is salt, some salt. Okay. So what happens? This salt, it starts when it is kept, when it is exposed to the air, it starts absorbing moisture. Moisture means water vapor. So this salt will start absorbing moisture, water vapor or moisture from the atmosphere. Okay, so it starts. So this salt will absorb the moisture from the atmosphere. So what happens? It slowly absorbs, and what happens? It will finally dissolves. It will finally dissolve in the absorbed moisture and form a solution. What happens? This salt, so it absorbs, keep on absorbing the moisture, atmospheric moisture. Okay, moisture from the atmosphere, and then it dissolves. That salt will dissolve in the absorbed moisture and finally forms saturated solution. And finally forms a saturated solution. Such salt which can absorb the moisture from the atmosphere and dissolves in it and finally forms saturated solution. Such salts are said to be deliquescent salts, or else deliquescent substances. That means the solid salt is converted into liquid by absorbing moisture from the atmosphere and finally forming saturated solution. Such salts are said to be deliquescent salts, or else deliquescent substances. And this phenomenon is said to be deliquescence. And the phenomenon of conversion of a solid salt into liquid saturated solution, okay, by absorbing the moisture from the atmosphere. So such phenomenon is said to be deliquescence. That phenomenon is said to be deliquescence. If you see examples, there are so many examples for deliquescent substances. Example, calcium chloride, CaCl2, anhydrous calcium chloride. This is called as anhydrous calcium chloride because it is not having water molecules in it now. So what happens? So it is called as anhydrous calcium chloride, anhydrous magnesium chloride, anhydrous calcium chloride, anhydrous magnesium chloride, anhydrous ferric chloride, anhydrous ferric chloride, okay, potassium hydroxide, okay, sodium hydroxide. So what are all these? They simply absorb these salts or else these substances. See, this is not salt, these are bases. Okay, these are salts. Okay, mercuric nitrate, Hg, NO3 taken twice. So this is also a salt. This is also salt. So these are all salts, these four. These two are bases. Hence I wrote a substance. Okay, instead of writing deliquescent salts, I wrote deliquescent substances, because even some bases are also will show such behavior. Okay, so what happens? What is the nature of these substances? They simply absorb moisture from the atmosphere. All these substances, they simply absorb the moisture from the atmosphere and they dissolve in that absorbed moisture. Okay, and finally they form saturated solution. Okay, such substances are said to be deliquescent substances. Okay, right. Next term related to these salts is is a hygroscopic substance. Hygroscopic substances. What are hygroscopic substances? These substances, they also absorb. See, look here. Suppose this substance, if a substance is there, so it absorbs the moisture from the atmosphere. So it absorbs water vapor or else moisture from the atmosphere. So it keeps on absorbing the moisture from the atmosphere, but it does not dissolve in that absorbed moisture. Simply it absorbs. But deliquescent substances, they absorb the atmospheric moisture and they dissolve in it to form saturated solution. Hygroscopic substances, they do not dissolve in the moisture or else they do not convert into solution. They simply absorb the moisture and they still remain as solid only even after the absorption of moisture. Such substances are said to be hygroscopic substances. But deliquescent substances, after absorption of moisture, they turn into saturated solution. They dissolve in it and finally form saturated solution. So that is the difference between deliquescent substance and hygroscopic substance. Hygroscopic substances, they do not form a solution. They still remain in solid form. That means they do not change their state. Okay. So such substances are said to be hygroscopic substances. So that is the basic difference between these two. If I take examples, quicklime, calcium oxide, quicklime, it is called as quicklime. It is called as quicklime. Okay, quicklime. See, simply it absorbs the moisture, but it does not dissolve in that moisture, or it does not. It forms a saturated solution. Okay. It does not form saturated solution. Right? Even H2SO4. Okay, sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid. So actually, already it is a solution. Already it is a liquid. Simply what happens? It absorbs. It absorbs the moisture and it does not convert into dilute solution. See, after absorption of moisture, it should convert into dilute solution. But it does not convert into dilute solution. Simply it absorbs the moisture. Concentrated sulfuric acid. In the same way, phosphorus pentoxide, P2O5, phosphorus pentoxide. This is also another hygroscopic substance. It also helps us, it also removes the moisture from the atmosphere. See, these substances are helpful in the laboratory because they have ability to take out the to absorb the moisture from the atmosphere and make the atmosphere dry atmosphere, moisture free atmosphere. So like this, these are the some of the examples of hygroscopic substances. Okay, now let us learn another term related to salts: efflorescent substances. Efflorescent, EFFLORESCENT, efflorescent salts or else efflorescent substances. See, for example, already we have seen copper sulfate, already we have seen. So actually CuSO4.5H2O. I've taken this salt. What is this salt? CuSO4. Okay, CuSO4 dot 5H2O, blue vitriol. See, if I keep a blue vitriol, if I keep it in the atmosphere, what happens? Slowly, this salt will convert into anhydrous copper sulfate. Hydrated copper sulfate will convert into anhydrous copper sulfate. Actually, the color of hydrated copper sulfate is blue. What happens if I keep this blue colored copper sulfate and hydrated copper sulfate or else blue vitriol in the atmosphere? So this substance will start losing its water of crystallization. It will lose water of crystallization. This substance will lose water of crystallization. This substance will absorb water. It absorbs moisture from the atmosphere. See, this substance will absorb the moisture from the atmosphere. Even this substance also will absorb the moisture from the atmosphere. But this substance will lose water molecules into the atmosphere. This substance will lose its water molecules. This substance will lose its water of crystallization into the atmosphere. After losing water of crystallization, it loses its blue color and converts into anhydrous copper sulfate, which is white in color. Okay, such substances are said to be efflorescent salts. Efflorescent salts, what do? They lose their water of crystallization. They may lose completely all the water of crystallization, or else they may lose some molecules, some water molecules. Out of 5 water molecules, they may lose some water molecules. That means partly they lose, or else they lose completely. Okay, that means the salts which lose water of crystallization partly or wholly or else completely, okay, when exposed to air, okay, so as to form powdery. So these are crystals. These are in crystal form, crystalline form. And finally, so this is anhydrous copper sulfate. It is a powdery form. It is in the form of powder. Okay, so it forms a powder. The crystals of copper sulfate will lose water of crystallization. So due to the presence of water of crystallization only, this copper sulfate will exist in the form of crystals. So if it loses water of crystallization, what happens? It forms a powdery mass. It forms a powder-like substance. Okay, such salts are said to be efflorescent salts, and the phenomenon is said to be efflorescence. And the phenomenon is said to be efflorescence. So this salt will show the phenomenon of efflorescence. Okay, as it is efflorescent salt, it will show the phenomenon of efflorescence. What is the meaning of showing of phenomenon of efflorescence? That means simply they lose water molecules. They lose water of crystallization into the atmosphere, into the air. Into the air they lose water of crystallization. They may completely lose all the water molecules attached to it, or else they may lose few water molecules which are attached to their salts. Okay, their molecules. So in this way, the efflorescent salts will be. Some of the examples of hygroscopic salts already we have seen. Deliquescent salts we have seen. So now we will see some of the examples of efflorescent salts. Efflorescent salts examples. Washing soda will show such behavior. Washing soda. Washing soda. What is the formula of washing soda? Just now we have learnt Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. Washing soda. Okay. Blue vitriol. So this is called as blue vitriol. Blue vitriol. CuSO4 dot 5H2O. Next, Glauber's salt. Glauber's salt. We have seen Glauber's salt in our previous examples. Glauber's salt. Sodium sulfate decahydrate. Na2SO4 dot 10H2O. Glauber's salt. Epsom salt. Epsom salt. MgSO4. Magnesium sulfate heptahydrate. MgSO4 dot 7H2O. Heptahydrate. Green vitriol. Green vitriol. Green vitriol. Green vitriol. What is the formula of green vitriol? Ferrous sulfate. FeSO4 dot 7H2O. Ferrous sulfate heptahydrate. Ferrous sulfate heptahydrate. So this is called as green vitriol. So like this. So these are some of the examples of efflorescent salts. Okay. So now these are some of the terms related to salts. So there are so many terms, but these are most important terms compulsory we should learn. Okay. Right. So we will learn the other concept in the next video.